optimistic over the additional assistance.
So this has to do with a possible World War III.
United States against Russia. Vladimir Putin, listen.
President Trump understands that we need more pressure on him. There's not enough pressure from Europe. They are our partners, but it's not enough. We need pressure directly on Putin, and we count on sanctions from the United States side.
Meanwhile, President Trump is saying, quote, in a huge Truth Social post, I'll take an excerpt. I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of their Ukraine's back its original Ukraine.
The reason why the U.S. is trying to stay out of this, because, like, you have to keep in mind that we're both world powers. And the thing is that both of us are kind of hovering over a nuclear button, as it were. So if the Ukraine could, in theory, win this with aid, that would probably be the best outcome for this. If I'm being completely honest. The last thing we want is another world war.
Back in its original form. Here to discuss this is Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, in his first interview since being sworn in officially. Ambassador, congratulations.
Thanks, Brian.
You're in the eye of the storm. The change in positions of President Trump to where he is right now with President Zelensky, how would you characterize it?
Well, I think you're seeing the president's frustration and disappointment, frankly, with Putin.
I mean, there was never going to be a way for this to end without either the Ukraine giving up land to an aggressor or Vladimir, because, like, you have to realize that this war's been going on now for almost 4 years, probably a little bit longer than that. And it shows that he's weak as a dictator, because 4 years and he just recently was able to grab some land from the Ukraine, and his victory isn't exactly going as he intended it to, which shows a general weakness, because he's losing ground with tanks to people with makeshift RPGs and non-soldiers. I mean, let's be honest here. This looks embarrassing. So, of course, like, he's either going to keep pressing forward to the point where there's going to be a new world war, or because Russia's going to be backed by quite a few other world powers, it's not going to be good if this actually keeps escalating. It's going to be really bad for everybody involved. So, like, we can't... So the people that are going to probably get in my comments and say, well, I don't really care, you should, because this could lead to another draft. This could be a nuclear war. Like, we don't know how this could go. This could be really bad for everybody involved, not just the Ukraine and Russia.
Has made innumerable calls. We had the summits in Saudi Arabia, in Turkey, in Alaska, obviously. And look, at the end of the day, Putin has to end this war.
He does. He's the only one that can stop this. And with how things are turning out, I don't really think he will. And I mean, let's be honest, Zelensky shouldn't give up. Like, if anyone should decide if they should give land up to Russia, it should be the Ukrainian people. Those are the ones that should decide if they want to give the land up or not. No one else, not any American, not any UN person, no one other than the Ukrainian people should decide if they want to give up that land. But they should know that if they give that land up, there's a good chance that within the next 5 or 6 years, it's probably going to happen again.
Very clear, his intent. And what you're seeing now is you're seeing, with the president's urging, you're seeing Europe increasingly stepping up.
Yeah.
They're now committing 5% of their GDP, which for years, it was not only, it wasn't even just half, it was just a third. That was meeting the bare minimum of 2%. So they're stepping up, they're buying our weapons, they're taking more responsibility for their security, and eventually, one way or another, Putin's going to get the message. And one other point, Brian, that I think is that we have to hammer, and the president hammered home in his speech yesterday, Europe can't be buying Russian oil and gas at the same time they're demanding help to fight this war.
And
that has to stop.
And do you also believe we have to lift the restrictions on the weapons we give Ukraine and let them hit the country that invaded them with long-range rockets?
Well, because, like, yeah, Russia is the aggressor in this. They are the aggressor. Like, there's no debating that.
I'll leave that to the president, Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Rubio.
Take a look at where the current battle lines are, and you know the borders from the invasion. This is where we stand right now in the war. This is what they're looking to
Claimed Ukrainian. Damn, they already got all this. Look at that. So the Russians controlled this. So this is. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. So claimed Ukrainian. Oh, damn. So the Ukraine has actually expanded. That's kind of insane. They're losing ground. The Russians are losing ground.
push back on, and this is the line pretty much that Ukraine has held. Now look, Mike, Ambassador, if you will, at the places in which they breach the airspace of NATO allies. This has not happened before. The president yesterday...
Oh, so they've been breaching the airs? The Russians have been breaching... Okay.
...said this about what he recommends our allies do.
Do you think that NATO countries
should just shoot down the planes? They're breaching airspace. That's what anyone would do. That'd be no different than if, like, Pakistan flew a jet over our airspace. We'd shoot that bitch down without even hesitation. Like, that's what you do.
shoot down Russian
Because you, like, I mean, come on, like, think about what happened to the Twin Towers. Like,
aircraft if they enter their airspace.
you think for 1 second, that's the reason why they had to use our own planes to do it, is because they knew that if they tried to fly their own, now it wasn't, obviously it wasn't Pakistan that did it, okay? It's just an example. But, like, any country that was trying to do something like that, they'd have to get people moved into the country and then make them learn how to use and do our way of life in order to pull something like that off, because if they tried to fly a plane over U.S. soil like that, it's going to get shot down instantaneously.
Yes, I do. What do you think? How would Russia digest that statement?
Well, number one, it's common sense coming from the president.
Absolutely.
We talked about this in my first Security Council meeting, which was just Monday, that the Estonians called. And between the violations of Romanian airspace, Polish airspace, and now Estonian airspace, I think Putin, the Russians, should take the message from the president. He's not messing around. He's incredibly serious. The Iranians learned painfully that he will use sticks as well as carrots.
Will you bring that message to the Russian ambassador in the UN?
Sticks as well
we
as
just
carrots.
brought that message with the Russians.
What has to change?
Well, number one, they need to stop doing, like we've seen in our own government, and we saw with USAID and others, they need to stop all of this woke nonsense. There are 7 UN agencies focused on climate change. There was a commission called the George Floyd Commission, where Biden allowed UN investigators to separately
Career at that position. I think Nikki Haley made a huge impact as ambassador.
I think that
What
we should be
impact
keeping a nice eye on this, because, like, I want to know if I think I'm above the age to be drafted now, thank God. But, like, I kind of want to keep an eye on this, because if I'm going to be taken out by a nuke, I want to know about it. You know what I'm saying?